Talking Giga Metals today. Giga Metals trades as GIGA on the Toronto Venture Exchange, HNCKF on the OTCQX in the States, as they're working on the Turnagain Nickel-Cobalt Project up in north central British Columbia. Here to run through the latest, CEO Mark Jarvis. Mark, appreciate the time here. It's been a while since we connected. I know last time you got a U.S. symbol. That ought to help you out here, but looks like you got some results here from Turnagain. Been a while. Let's run through the highlights here for investors.
Okay, well, we spent a lot of time and money up at the Turnagain property this past season. I think we shut down our camp about 3 weeks ago, and did a ton of infill drilling, a ton of geotechnical drilling. We did seismic around our tailings management facility. So none of this is stuff that's going to generate, I don't think, any surprises. Infill drilling, our experience at Turnagain is a fairly homogeneous deposit. So the infill drilling is going to be pretty similar to the holes that it's in between. And but the whole idea is that we're getting enough detailed information to support advancing the engineering to the pre-feasibility level. And that's, it's a slow process, step by step by step. And so that's it's an interesting point in our history where, when you're developing a big deposit like this, we're not really in the stage where you're going to get exploration surprises, which is kind of a fun stage. I mean, that's where you get, if you hit a big hole, you're exploring something, you hit a big hole, suddenly your stock goes up by 10 times and then down to 5, it just trades volatile. This isn't that stage. And you're probably familiar with the Lassonde cycle of investing in mining stocks. This is kind of a long, I'm going to even say boring cycle, part of the cycle for a lot of investors. But it's a part of the cycle where the stock trades pretty cheap. And so people that have patience, you don't know when things are going to happen that's suddenly going to stimulate a lot of interest in your stock. You just can't call the timing. But what you know is that if you can position yourself while the stock's cheap and wait, something's going to happen. And in our case, I think what's happening right now is the nickel market itself. I've seen for the last 6 months, warehouse stocks of nickel on the LME, of class 1 nickel on the LME, have been cut in half in the last 6 months. We're down to about 135,000 tons in storage. That's less than 3 weeks supply of nickel in storage. And that's where things start to get interesting. I think we're getting very close to a crunch time. And in terms of, the whole battery supply chain and where we fit into that picture, I sense that things are getting extremely interesting there too. If you look at what's going on in the battery world, and with how quickly electric vehicles are being adopted, the Chinese have figured it out, and China Incorporated has figured it out. So they realize that if they want to dominate the battery business and the electric vehicle business, they have to secure supplies of critical materials. And they've done it. They've done it for lithium, they've done it for cobalt, rare earths. They own the rare earths market. And they've been building nickel mines, big nickel mines in Papua New Guinea, Indonesia, and so forth. And these are mines, these mines that they're building are uneconomic in Western terms, even the successful ones. The unsuccessful ones have blown up and caused so much destruction of capital, it's crazy. But even the successful HPAL projects have internal rates of return of 1%, 2%, 3%. But the Chinese are building them because capital's cheap. What's fiat currency worth? So they put up $3 billion and they build an HPAL facility that's capable of producing 35,000 tons a year of nickel. And they're setting this all up because they know that they want a long-term supply of nickel at a cost they can predict. And this is giving them an incredible competitive advantage. And what we're finding is that the Western battery companies are waking up and they're starting to go, if we want to be around in 10 years, the Chinese are coming for us, and they're coming for us with their supply chains secured, locked and loaded. Where's our supply chain? So you've seen just recently a couple of deals announced. BASF, the big European battery company, announced a deal with Nornickel, the big Russian nickel producer, in Finland. They're building a gigafactory in Finland, and Nornickel is going to supply the nickel for a while. I'm not sure how long that contract is, but it ain't forever. And BASF has big plans in building gigafactories all over the place. So it's logical that they go to Nornickel first, they go to the producer first, but they're going to need a lot more nickel over the next 10 or 20 years. And I can tell you that they're looking very actively. Panasonic recently announced a deal with BP to source nickel out of Australia, out of BP's production in Australia, because Panasonic and Toyota are building a gigafactory in Japan as a joint venture. So they need nickel supply for that. So again, that's a start. But Panasonic also has big plans long term, and they need to look downstream. There's a lot of other Western battery companies that haven't got figured out yet. And we're talking to everybody, frankly. We're just, and I can tell you this because I don't feel like any of the discussions are at a material point yet. So, it's just a lot of talk for now. But I can report to you that the interest level has gone up noticeably in the last couple of months, as people are starting to get not panicky yet, but they're starting to be very, very concerned about securing supply chains, particularly of nickel. And they're starting to realize that it's an existential issue. If you're a battery company, it's an existential issue. You have to have your supply chain figured out. So I just think for us, it's a very, very interesting time. And that's really where at some point in the next, I believe at some point in the next period of time, there's going to be a transformative event for our company. I could be wrong. There's certainly no guarantees in this business, but I smell it coming, Rob, and it's just a very, very interesting time in the nickel market. It's a very, very interesting time to have a very large deposit that's capable of supplying materials for the battery supply chain.
Well, that certainly sounds a little intriguing there, Mark. So, all right, you got a bunch of data here to crunch. You get some assays back from the labs. Who knows when those come? Take us through the end of 21 and how you'll kick off 22 here.
Well, okay, so for starters, I don't think we're going to start seeing assays until January, February. The assay labs are backed right up, and it's just the way it is. So, but again, I'm not expecting a lot of surprises from our infill drilling. No, to me, it's all about trying to figure out who to bring in for a strategic investor. And I'm talking about bringing people in at the project level. We've got money left over. We did a raise last spring, and we've got money left over from our drill program. But projects like this, really big projects, take a lot of money to develop. And so I am hoping that we can get an investment at the project level that will carry us all the way to shovel-ready status. And that would be quite a big investment. We're offering a piece of the project for the money that'll get us there. And, if we could do that, that will be a transformative event. That's really my ambition. And, the backup plan is, doing equity financing, which is something I want to stay away from if I can. But, at the end of the day, you do what you have to drive the project forward. So.
Okay, we certainly set the stage there for a lot to pay attention to, so appreciate that update. That's Mark Jarvis. He's the CEO of Giga Metals. Giga trades as GIGA, Toronto Venture Exchange, HNCKF, and the OTCQX in the States now. Mark, thanks for that update. We'll certainly look forward to checking back in there when you have some more news to report.
Thank you very much, Rob. Appreciate it.